Have you ever had clients saying, man, I love your work, I want you to do my sleeve or something else, and I want you to have full creative freedom. Do whatever you want, I believe you're gonna make it look great and all that stuff. And how many times have you actually had some creative freedom in those projects? My name is Mistertroshin. I've been tattooing for almost 13 years, and I hear that a lot. Let's talk about what it actually means to have creative freedom. I used to get pretty hyped when I heard that from clients, and I thought, okay, I have this idea and this idea, I'm gonna make it look great, and I prepare maybe 2 or 3 designs and I show my ideas to the client, and usually I hear something, I actually don't really like this and I don't really like that. I was hoping maybe you could do something like this. How about we just do a dove or an angel, or I saw this cool gothic window on somebody else and it looks sick, why don't we do that? And you realize that you really don't have any creative freedom for that project, and you just have to do something completely basic and something you have done multiple times and something you have seen on other people multiple times. And all that excitement goes away because you just work on the same stuff as before. I've done thousands of tattoos. I've done hundreds of sleeves, dozens of back pieces, dozens of leg sleeves. Best case scenario, creative freedom usually means that I have the freedom to choose the right versions of the objects that clients want and choose the right placement and work on the composition. But it's still going to be pretty much the stuff that clients like and want, except for the projects that are completely based on my designs. And I love doing those projects, and usually once or twice a year I post some designs on my Instagram. Like, here are 10 back piece designs, or here are 5 full sleeve designs that I want to do. And if I have some clients that are willing to get those designs done on them, then there is no discussion, no changes. It's going to be as I want it to look like. And if they agree to it, cool. And this is what I think creative freedom really means. In most other cases, clients just usually either don't really know what they want and they saw a bunch of cool tattoos and they want something in between, but they have no idea what exactly they want, or they already have some ideas. Like I said, they want some angels, they want some doves and roses and stuff like this, and they just want you to figure out a way to make it look better and cooler than they have ever seen before. So I just wanted to talk about what we can do in terms of communication with clients when they first message us or email us, and to the actual meeting and consultation with the client if we're gonna do it in person. So usually when I have somebody messaging me and telling me that they want me to use my creative freedom and do whatever I want, I already know what to expect from those people, and I usually ask them to send me 3 to 5 designs or sleeves or back pieces that I have done before and that they liked. This way I know which direction we are going, and I know what kind of stuff that client liked. So if that client sends me a few of my sleeves that are storytelling based, where I used real objects from clients' lives and just create a cool composition around their arms using those cool things, then I'm super excited about, because this is going to be the most unique project, because I don't have to use the same references either from internet or even the photos I took before that maybe I have used already. And in this case, I just know that my freedom is going to be choosing the right photos or taking pictures of the clients' things and objects they want to use and just placing them on the body in the way that I want. And if they send me some ideas based on the sculptures that I've done before, I usually ask them, whether they are open to do similar sculptures but not exactly the same designs. If they say yes, that's a little bit better, and I'm gonna have some freedom in terms of choosing the sculpture, but it's still not completely creative freedom, because I know that if they liked, for example, a sculpture of a warrior that I have done before, then if I choose another sculpture of a warrior, they might not like the expression of their face or position of their body. So it's a little bit more tricky to me when I work on these designs. And I usually try to have a consultation with the client before we schedule the first appointment. I'm going to show them some photographs of the statues I have and the statues I would like to use in their case. And if they like those, if they're happy about my ideas, then cool. I take pictures of their arm or back piece. We schedule their first appointment and we go from there. And worst case, if that client who wanted creative freedom shows me some designs that are completely basic and they just want something that I have done hundreds of times before, I just try to convince them to maybe recreate that idea and that design in a more unique way. So if it's going to be roses and clocks and birds and stuff like this that all of us tattoo artists have done hundreds of times, we can always find a way to maybe take a picture of a new reference, maybe go outside and take some pictures of roses, maybe find a cool clock in a museum or something else, and just find a new way to place those things on the body. Maybe add some additional things to create the flow through the sleeve. Or maybe we can add some personal things from the client's life. For example, maybe that client has some jewelry that his parents passed to him, or some other cool objects that have history for the client. Then maybe we can find a way to incorporate those things into our design to make it more unique. And I guess the most difficult part is not just creating those cool new designs, but communication with the clients, at least for me, because sometimes I get hyped about these requests with full creative freedom, and then when I find out that that client actually wants something completely basic, well, it usually feels like a disappointment in some way. And the most important thing for me is just to find a way to communicate with the client on how to not make them feel dumb because they chose something really basic, but instead how to turn that basic idea into something new and something cool. And that's a skill I had to learn, and I'm still not sure that I actually learned it, but I'm working on it. At least I keep in mind this idea of not trying to make the clients feel bad because maybe their ideas are not so unique and original. And the next thing coming from this first initial client talk and consultation is actually working on that design and booking the first initial appointment with them. If I know approximately what the design is going to be about, and if I spend some time at home working on that design, I can spend a full day on my day off just working on the design and trying a bunch of different options, a bunch of different objects, and choosing the best combination, in my opinion, for that design and for that project. Then when I meet with the client for the first session, there's a very high likelihood of that client not completely liking that design that I prepared. And again, that's a big disappointment for me because I already tried so many different variants and so many different options. And if they don't like the placement or they don't like the particular references that I used for that design, then it means that I have spent hours or even days working on something for free, and now I just have to completely start from scratch and redo the whole thing, and it's very frustrating for me. So over the years I found that it's best for me and for my flow and for me to stay away from being burnt out creatively is to have a basic idea or understanding on what clients want for their project. And then clients already know, based on my website and based on my rules, that the final design and all that stuff will be done in the beginning of our appointment and during our first tattoo session. So they don't expect me to come up with a final design before their appointment. And I found it's best to sit down with the client and show them some options and maybe show them the placement on their body by printing those stencils and putting them on the arm or on the back or anywhere else, so they can actually physically see what it's going to look like. And this way it's much easier for me to communicate why I think this object should be this big and not twice smaller like they expected before, and explain them why the objects I chose should be in this particular way and in this particular composition, and how it complements their body. Because if I can put the stencils on their arm and then show them how those stencils move when they bend the arm or do any other types of movement, and this way I can, based on my experience, explain them why it should be this way and not the way that they originally wanted. So I like to do that during the first session and right before we actually start tattooing. Another reason why I don't like preparing the designs few days or weeks before the actual tattoo session is that if you provide a design based on client's ideas to the client, and if the client starts showing this idea and this design to their friends, there will be multiple different opinions, because one friend is gonna like it, another friend is not gonna like it, a third friend is gonna offer them some ideas on how to make it better, in their opinion, of course. Another friend is gonna tell them, oh, it's completely stupid, you should have done it this way. And it frustrates the people. It plants the seed of uncertainty in the client's mind. So when I have a chance to work on the design with the client right in the beginning of the first session, it's just me and the client. I'm gonna explain why I want things to look the way I want, and if they agree to that, cool, we are ready to go. But if there are other people involved in this process, it becomes a nightmare. So one of the rules on my website that all the clients must read before booking an appointment with me, that there are no other people allowed during the session. It's just going to be me and the client. No wives, no husbands, no kids, no friends. If you don't trust my opinion and if you don't trust yourself in making a choice, then we are not able to work together. I believe that if a client is not underage, if it's a full-grown adult, they must be able to make such decisions, and they must take responsibility for their decisions. This way the project is going to turn out best. This way we won't waste any time on listening to dozens of other people's opinions. This way I'm going to have the most amount of energy for working on that project, and I just like it best. So I'd love to hear your experience and your stories about it in the comments below. And if you haven't watched this video, it might be very helpful as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.